One of the most important parts of the St. Louis style pizza is the super thin crust. We freeze these in advance. You order a bunch of them in advance and just freeze them and take them out when you need them a couple minutes early and just set them on the counter to thaw out. There's little docks in the shell. You just want to make sure that you don't use the side that doesn't have the little holes in it. So this is the pizza sauce we use. You can get it on Amazon. It's really cheap. Or if you want to order like the official Emos pizza sauce, you can, but this tends to work for us. It's a lot less expensive and it tastes really good. Okay, so if you want to, once you go to put the sauce on, you just take a couple of tablespoons of it and get it on there, depending on how much sauce you like, and then just kind of spread it over around, make it even. You don't want to get it too far over to the edge or too close to the edge because you don't want it to run off. And if it runs off, it'll kind of make your oven gross and it'll steam and burn a little bit too fast in there. So just get it right close to the edge. And then you're ready for your toppings. So the first thing you want to put on is your pepperoni and your meats, and just kind of spread them out evenly like this. And you know, it's personal preference how much you like of everything, but you just put it on this way, and then after you're done with this, you can move on to the sausage. So we use Johnsonville Italian sausage to make our pizza, and we get a package of hot and a package of mild, and we just mix them together so it gives you kind of a nice flavor mix where it's not too hot and not too mild. So then we put the sausage on. Again, personal preference how you like it, but just kind of space it out evenly. If you want the pieces bigger or kind of break them up, it just depends on how you like it. And it's an easy way to do it, and it's easy to do. So the most important ingredient with St. Louis style pizza is Provel cheese, and it's something you can get on Amazon now. Actually, it's really not available outside of St. Louis. Most people have never heard of it, but it's a necessary ingredient if you want to make St. Louis style pizza. The next thing you want to do is put the Provel cheese on. And the trick here is you don't need a ton of it. You don't need to completely cover it because it'll melt. And you also want to make sure not to get it too close to the edges because it'll melt. It'll kind of mess up your pizza stone a little faster than necessary, basically. But just kind of spread it out, and then when you're done, just kind of scoot it over to the edges, and you'll be ready to go. So this is what it'll look like once the cheese is done. You can see it's not completely covered in cheese. You don't need a whole ton of it. And then you can put your different vegetables or whatever you want on there. In this case, we'll just put some black olives on, and we also have some other ingredients that we'll add as well. So now we've done the black olives. Now we also have these Greek Kalamata olives, and that's another thing. Same thing with all your toppings. It's just a personal preference. A lot of people put hamburger on theirs. My family puts bacon on their pizzas a lot. Me, I'm personally just a pepperoni and sausage guy, so it just depends on what your personal preference is. So we've got these on there, and then we also have these artichokes, and you can kind of spread them out evenly. It just makes for a pretty interesting pizza. And just spread them out across the pizza. So after we're done with the artichoke hearts, we're going to add some mushrooms to this one. And same thing. There's no real order for the vegetables. You can just kind of put them on however you want. Some people like to put the mushrooms on first. It just really depends on what you like. But just get them on there, spread them out kind of evenly. And now we're ready to go in the oven. One of the things you're going to want is what's called a pizza peel, and you can get these on Amazon. We bought it with our oven, but you're definitely going to need that to put your pizza into the oven. And you just basically lift up the pizza, slide this under there, and then it's ready to go into the oven. Earlier I talked about the light that's on the back of the oven, and you can see it here. It's just a little light that would it's on when it's heating. It's orange, and then it turns off when it's ready to go. We still had this set up at high, basically the preheating temperature, and we're just going to turn it down to thin, and we'll be ready to put the pizza in the oven. Okay, so all you need to do now is just open up your oven, You have your pizza peel that has your pizza on it, and just kind of carefully slide it off on, make sure it's in the middle there, and close it up, and it's going to start cooking. So once it starts cooking, what I typically do is set a timer for about 3.5 minutes, or maybe even 4 minutes, but I just start keeping an eye on it at about 3.5 minutes and seeing if it starts to smoke. That doesn't mean it's done, that just means it's time to adjust it. The total cooking time will vary depending on the pizza and depending on the oven, but most of the time it's probably going to be about 6, maybe 7 minutes. It just varies. Okay, so right now we're at about 4.5 minutes. What you can't see probably in the video is it's starting to smoke a little bit, which is okay. And then you can kind of get in here and just move it around a little, and it'll kind of stop the smoking, but also, you know, you can kind of get a feel for it. It just basically kind of lets it touch other areas of the pizza. Close it back down and just keep watching that steam back there. Okay, we're at about 6.5 minutes now, and it's starting to steam again. And like I said, you probably can't see that in the video, but like I said, it's starting to steam a little bit. You want to just move it around again, and you can kind of get a feel for as you're picking it up like this, it won't bend as much. It'll stay more straight, and that's when you know it's really done. And it kind of depends on how crispy you want everything, but it's getting there. Probably just another minute or two. Okay, so now it's probably getting really close to done here. So you can see it's starting to smoke a little bit again, and just kind of the same thing, just adjust a little bit, and you can start to see kind of it's holding its form a little bit, so it should be good to go now. So what you want to do here is just take it off, use your pizza peel, take it off and put it on a pizza pan like that, and it'll be ready to cut in just a minute. Okay, next to the Provel cheese and the thin crust, the other most important part of St. Louis pizza is it has to be cut in squares. So you just take your pizza cutter, straight through that way, usually 3 across, and then you just do the same this way. Sometimes the more ingredients you have on there, sometimes they'll kind of blend together a little bit. So do it just like that, and now your pizza is all done. Now, in the extremely unlikely event that you have some of this left over, it's best to not warm it up in the microwave. The best way to do it is just put a couple pieces in a frying pan and just heat them up that way. That way you'll get the bottom crispy and you won't lose any of the crispiness that you would in the microwave.